x squared plus, doesn't matter what it is, what the number is in front, okay? So I'm gonna write down plus qx plus qr, okay, is equal to 4x squared plus 12x plus 36, okay, plus 30, 1 second, plus 36. Okay, now that you got this, you were asked to find out what is the value of r here. Okay, one more time. Excellent, Rosie, well done. So you don't have to think too much in these problems. Okay, once again, whatever is in here, just put in p is equal to 4, q is equal to, just copy it, q is equal to 12, and this guy now, okay, fully, you're going to write down qr is equal to 36. Now how can you solve r? Okay. So q is equal to 12, and so qr is 36. Of course, you know r is equal to, you got 12r, right? You can substitute this guy. This is like almost like simultaneous equations, right? The system of equations. So r is equal to 36 over 12, which gives you 3, right? And that's your answer. Okay, super easy question. The SAT questions might be a little bit more complicated, which is why we're going to look at number 17 over here. One more time, one more thing that might happen, right? Yes, you can do exactly that. You can do exactly that. Shravani, yes. One more thing that might happen is, instead of giving this, right, they might give you something like this: ax plus 2, 3x plus 5, right? And then you just got to foil it first, okay? Foil it over here, okay? Yes, it's 3, okay? It's 3, okay? Now you got to foil this. So 3ax squared plus 2 plus 6x plus, all right, 5ax plus 10 is equal to whatever is here, and then you compare these guys, okay? So with that in mind, let's look at this problem, okay? It's a nice challenging problem. Okay, so try this one. All you've got to do, guys, is you gotta foil this, okay, or distribute this really over here, okay? Super easy to do it, okay? So you're gonna have 6x squared, because I'm distributing this, right, plus 10x, right, plus 9x plus 15, right, is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, right? And then they're only asking for b. I'm not even going to do much over here. This is b over here, right? This is the coefficient b. So I'm just looking for what's the coefficient over here. I'm just going to group this first, right, which we haven't talked about, 19x, and just whatever this is, just copy this down. 19 is the number in front of x, and that's what b is. So 19 is equal to b, and that's your answer. Okay, well done, Rachel, Joel, Kiona, Jelly, awesome. Shravani, Zunor, Vic, Lad, Mimi, Rosie, Shravani, Mega, right? Excellent, 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 excellent. So I think you, Delena, very good. So I think you guys are getting this answer. Superbly done. Okay, let's see if there's a slightly harder problem. This was actually slightly easier, but let's see if there's a slightly more complicated problem that we can do over here. One more time. You see how easy it can get, right? Same thing, same type of a problem here, right? Just you need to simplify and you're going to get the answer. Okay, let's see if there's a slightly more complicated problem here. All of these equivalent problems, right? Super easy to solve them. Okay, and again, I'm going to give this sheet to everybody so that you can solve this, right? So so be careful. Try to solve all of these problems, okay? Now, before we move on to quadratics, I want to talk about an important topic: complex numbers. Okay, complex numbers. So this might be a bit complicated for some of you, okay? So if it's complicated, just watch the video one more time. Complex numbers and polynomials, if for people who are interested in math, eventually you realize they're the same thing. Complex numbers and polynomials are really very similar, okay? The idea being, if you've got 2 plus 3i, right? Remember we did this, minus 4 minus 7i is the same thing. You just distribute it inside, right? I'm going to do it over here right now. 2 plus 3i minus 4 plus 7i, because you distribute this guy and then just group these guys together. So you're going to get negative 2i, and then you get 3 plus this, right? Exactly right, Shravani. So hopefully you understood that, right? So be careful. Okay, so 2 plus 3i, right? It's almost like x, over here. It's the same thing, okay? Now, 2 plus 3i, 2 minus 4 is -2, and then 3, right? Exactly the same thing. I'm going to move on. If you have questions, of course, my subscribers who are part of the bootcamp, but also people who are here for the first time, right? Ask me the question if you have, but actually watch the video, because this video is being recorded, and I'm going to give it to you anyway, okay? Okay, -2 plus 10i. Okay, now let's look at some other problems here. -2 plus 10i, you've got this idea. Trying to see what else we can do. Okay, another part of complex numbers, very important, is how do you multiply two numbers? Okay, 2 plus 3i times 1 plus 2i. And remember, guys, I means square root of -1, and I squared therefore is equal to -1. Okay, the very important thing to remember, I squared is equal to -1. Okay, so all right, so yes, you're gonna FOIL that now. Yes, distribute it, FOIL it, whichever way you want. Let's see how many of you get it. So 2 times 1, which is 2, right? 2 times 1. Then I'm going to look at these guys, okay? 3i, right over here. Then I've got this guy over here, right? 2 plus 2, right? So I'm going to get 2 times 2i, which is 4i, right? So remember, I did this times this and this times this, right? Remember, just x, I is x, okay? And then the last one is tricky, 3i times 2i, okay? Guys, this is so easy, okay? Don't mess this up. And just so easy to do it, okay? So you've got this now, okay? Now, all of you are getting this value. Now, I'm gonna tell you one last piece, okay? With complex numbers, there's one special thing you gotta remember is I squared is -1. But before that, let's do 2 plus 3i plus 4i. So I can group these together, right? 7i. And 3i plus 2i is 6i squared. 6i squared, right? Remember, I squared is equal to -1. That's the only piece. That's the only piece where the complex numbers are different than the polynomials, okay? This is the only place where complex numbers are different than polynomials. Anytime you see I squared, substitute -1. So now you're just going to get -6. Wow, okay? So -6. So 2 minus -6 is -4 plus 7i. And that's your answer. Or you can write it as 7i minus 4, whichever way it works, okay? Okay. So remember, you get the I squared, okay? Don't forget to put I squared equal to -1, and then you're safe, right? So let's try another problem of the same type. I'm gonna squeeze this to the left, top left, and try another problem of this very same type. Okay. Yes, they ask you to put in the A plus IB form. Okay, exactly right. So if they ask you to put in the A plus BI form, remember, guys, this is the 7 plus 7 minus 4 plus 7i form. Okay, so A is equal to -4 and B is equal to 7. Okay, well done. Well, good question, Joel. So yes, so yeah, I would say put the real number in front and then the I part afterwards. Okay, that's a good habit. That's true. That's true. So, but sometimes they might just ask you A, right? Like, but anyway, good points raised, all of you. Now, let's look at this one. Next, very similar. I want everybody of you to get this, okay? Remember, I squared is -1. Don't forget that, okay? So I'll give you a simpler one. Let's say 3 plus I times, actually, let me make it complicated because I'm in two minds now. Let me just make it easier. 2 plus 2i. Okay, let's do it this way. Yeah, you're just rearranging it. Yeah, Ritvik, for Ritvik, it's like -4 plus 7i, right? Or 7i minus 4 is the same thing. You're just rearranging this guy here. Okay, well done. Okay, so how do you do this? This times this, which is 6, then 2 times I, 2i, 3 times 2i is 6i, and then I times 2i is I times 2i, and then you're going to remember, oh yeah, I remember what Ash told me, right? I times 2i is 2i squared, right? Don't leave it like this. Remember what you're going to remember, oh yeah, I remember what Ash told me, I squared is -1, right? So then you're going to remove this I squared, just put a -1 in front of it, right? So -2, right? Becomes -2. So 6 and then you don't forget to group it. So 6 minus 2 is 4, and 2i plus 2i is 8i. okay? And yeah, let's stay true to form. Let's say they want to add, they want to say a plus ib or a plus bi, right? So then a is equal to 4 and b is equal to 8, okay? And that's how you solve this, okay? Now, well done. Wow, most of you are getting it, and people who are new over here, definitely please participate, right? Even if you get it wrong, doesn't matter, guys. This is like a hands-on practice session, right? That's what we're talking about over here. Very important to participate. Now, one last thing about complex numbers is complex conjugates. Okay, so one more time, you're going to have the same thing: 2 minus 3i. Okay, 2 minus 3i. So what do you do over here? They might ask you to put this in the a plus bi form. What do you do here? 2 steps. The first step is the hardest one, or something to remember. You're gonna write down this 2 and 3i here. Okay, and then you're gonna write down this 2 and 3i, the same thing. But instead of the negative, you're gonna put a positive here. That's called the complex conjugate. Okay, that's called the complex conjugate. That's your first step. Okay, and this is a harder problem. If you don't get it, right, just watch the video again. Well done, Mimi. Just watch this problem. Okay, now what are you gonna do over here? You are gonna multiply 2 minus 3i times 2 plus 3i. And I'm gonna give you a shortcut for this. Okay, and the top is just gonna be 2 plus 3i. Okay, top is just going to be 2 plus 3i. Now, what do you do at the end? You don't need to FOIL this guy. Okay, you don't need to FOIL complex conjugates. I'm going to give you the shortcut. The shortcut is you just write down 2 here, write down 3 here, you square them and you add them. One more time, you take this 2 and 3, right? You see the 2 and 3, you just write down the 2 and 3, you square them and you add them. Don't subtract them, you add them. Okay, and 2 plus 3i. Okay, so now what is it? 2 squared plus 3 squared is 4 plus 9, right? And this is 2 plus 3i, right? So that's 2 plus 3i over 13. Yes, that's going to save you time. That's the shortcut thing, right? So don't try to like FOIL stuff or anything, right? Remember, this trick works only for complex conjugates, which means something like this: 4 minus I, 4 plus I, right? Where there's everything, these numbers are the same, only the sign is different, okay? That's a shortcut, okay? So anyway, you've got this. Now you can write this as 2 over 13 plus, right, plus I 3 over 13. So this is your real part and this is your imaginary part, okay? So I haven't shown you the question. I've made, right? We're just practicing this, okay? Okay, so be careful. Be super careful, okay? Only when you have the complex conjugates, guys, this is what happens, okay? All right. Oh yeah, the question. What's the question? Yeah, thanks, Bilal. So the question is, you got 1 minus 2 over 3i, and you've got to convert it to the form a plus bi. Remember, this is in the denominator, okay? This thing. So this is not clearly equal to 2 minus 3i, okay? It's in the denominator. The way you convert it is, this is your first step. You multiply by the complex conjugate. The second step is right over here, right? You use the 2 squared plus 3 squared, and then you get the answer. I'm going to solve one more problem of this type, and then we're going to move to quadratics, okay? So let's try a simpler one. Let's say 3, what was this one anyway? By the way, I don't want to solve the same one again. So let's say 4 minus 2i. Convert this to a plus ib. That's what the question is. So remember, the first step, I'm going to just write down the hints for you. You're going to multiply by the complex conjugate, okay? So do that first, which means 4 plus 2i, 4 plus 2i. Where do you get the complex conjugate? Just copy this guy, just change the sign. The next step, you're going to just write this down just for the sake of practice. Eventually, you're just going to do it with your eyes, okay? And then 4 plus 2i. The third step, the shortcut, 4 squared plus 2 squared, okay? 4 squared plus 2 squared, all right? And then just copy this guy. Now it's done. 4 plus 2i over 16, 16 plus 4. 4 squared is 16, 16 plus 4, 20, right? It's this one, right? Don't forget this sign, okay? This sign is positive. Because this was negative, remember that's going to be positive, okay? Now, you can write it whichever way you want, right? So let's separate these out. So 4 over 20, right? Which is this part, the real part. And then the imaginary part is 2i over 10, right? So you're going to have 1 over 5 plus I 1 over 10. Okay, so this part is important like this. Okay. Okay. Yes, here it is. And look at and solve this. Don't try to solve it now because we got to move on. But here it is. The timestamp on the video is probably going to be something like 37 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that. Okay. This is the exact problem. See, they're asking you what is the value of A. Same deal, right? This is what Nigel, thanks for that, right? So remember, exactly same thing. You just need to do it. Okay. There's tons of problems like this.